real Israelite is not for their turn. Some of you for their turn, that's okay. Because you set up to fall right with them. All you that's joining to these heathen, looks like I got something for you. It's all here in the scriptures. I mean, it's just a matter of you realizing that we got to do the best we can. That's why Mashiach Shai said, be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. You know, it's written. I mean, it is what it is. You can look at it however you want to look at it, but you can't stop what it is that have went out already from happening, that is gravitating with the spirit of the Most High amongst all Israel that's scattered among all nations. And you're not going to stop it. You're not going to stop this. You might, like I say, that's why Mashiach Shai said, don't be afraid of those that can kill the body, but they can't kill the spirit. Because the spirit going to be living on and on. You got those that you have already killed that's crying to the Most High. He said, when you're going to go down and avenge the blood that has been shed of your saints. So that's by the time he come back to deliver the children of Israel, oh yeah, he's going to have a lot on his mind. Knowing what you have done and say you're not guilty. Oh yeah. Here go a little bit something for you. Revelation 19 and 17. So Mashiach Shai come to judge and make war. He said, and I saw an angel standing in the sun. And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power, King of kings and power of powers, under the glory of the Most High, of Mashiach Shai, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and of the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, the Catholic Church and all these false religious leaders that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, believing in his system of wickedness, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive, not dead. They're going to be cast alive into the lake, a lake of fire burning with brimstone, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Oh yeah. Make it say something different. That's prophecy. That's how it's going down, point blank. When y'all come up to fight against him, it's already written what's going to happen to you. That's, we don't care. We here, we not here. We know what's going to be, what's written. We know the power of the Most High. He'll give us an understanding. It's, oh, it's been tampered with. Yeah, this ain't tampered with. The judgment that's coming on this earth is not tampered with. You better believe that. The mystery of the Most High and his word has not been tampered with. Oh yeah, all your armies coming together to fight Mashiach Yahushua. This is the end result right here. 2 Ezra 13 and 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth. Remember it said, verse 19 of Revelation 19, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Who is this? Talking about a Mashiach Yahushua coming with 200 million angels. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. All you that believe in these religions and so forth. And them that worshiped his image. You know, believing in a system. That's how you worship an image. Just like we were made in the image of the Most High. By what? Following what he said do. His rules and regulations. That's how you're in the image of the Most High. His laws, statute, commandments. Just like some of you in the image of your enemies that had you in captivity over and over and over again. You following one part or a lot of parts of what they have set up in idolatry. Straight up. That's his image. You just look like you look, but inside you are him. You are them. Them that worship his image, these both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth. We're going to deal with that. And all the fowls were filled with their flesh. You know, all the buzzards come to eat them up. All the birds come and eat them up. That's what it's about. 2nd Ezra 13 and 9. I'll start at 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, to try and come against him, I was so afraid, and yet does fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude of that came, all the armies, as we just read in Revelation, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as just read in Revelation 19 and 21. I love this because it's prophecy. And it's the power that the Most High has given to Mashiach Yahushua to judge and make war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude, can't even measure, can't be counted, how many men will come together to fight Mashiach Yahushua and his angels. Nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Oh yeah. So he was afraid. That's why all you that's joined to them, like I said, they're gonna be afraid, but they're gonna fight, and you're gonna be burned up. And all you that's joined to them, you want to join them and fight against the Mashiach Yahushua. They got you all twisted in your mind, thinking you fighting some kind of alien coming from the sky. They already called you an alien. And they the aliens, they invaded our land. But yet still they call you an alien. Check this out. This for all of you that's joined to them. Isaiah 13 and 14. This is the doom of their kingdoms. And it shall be as a chased roe. They're going to be like a chased deer. And as a sheep that no man taketh up. Ain't nobody going to be bothered with them. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Where you Israelites going? Yeah, where you so-called Negroes going? Where y'all going? What land you going back to? You ain't been there all your life. You going to go back to a land? Anybody ever said come home? And all you that say of another nation, you're going to go there, Esau running all of that. Wherever you run, he's got the fatness, the doer of heaven, man. Where you gonna run? You ain't running nowhere. But all these Chinese gonna go back to China, Japan, Japanese back to Japan, Hamites back to Africa and so forth. Israel gonna go back to Saudi Arabia. They're gonna get up out of here. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. That means they're gonna be killed. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. You're going to fall by the sword. If you join unto them, it's the doom of Babylon, America, and the Edomite kingdoms. Everyone that's joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Remember it said, let me get it to you, give it to you again. Come on, Amos 9 and 10. All the sinners, because you're not following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, you follow what they done set up for you to fall into that lake of fire, like them. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, you're going to die. That's what it's saying. Verse 15 of Isaiah the 13th chapter. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them, are you that's joined unto them in holy matrimony, or you joined unto them in mind, soul, and body, and think that it's okay, shall fall by the sword. That's what it says. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, robbed, and their wives ravished, raped. You're going to have these nations go against them and rape their women. Verse 19, Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. This is going to be the lake of fire right here. What did he do with Sodom and Gomorrah? He burned up all those 5 cities. Ruins of those 5 cities are still here today. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generations. Neither shall an Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. See? The wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses. Nobody will be living there. And dragons in their pleasant palaces, excuse me. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's why I tell you, once again, Romans 11:25, for I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, something that's unknown. Don't be foolish, don't be not knowing of something that's unknown. Lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. You see, we're waking up. We're not as blind as we were before. We're waking up to this truth. All praise to the Most High, to know His word and how it applies to us today, and how we got to come back to His law, statutes, and commandments to be fulfilled with His mercy and grace. You see the kingdom that's prepared for us. So let's go into it. Let's look at, real quick, I want to go into Judas. We're going to start reading the 4th chapter. It's pretty self-explanatory. Apocrypha is pretty clear how it's written. I can see why they took it out. Because I'm looking in here, I looked in this, I was like, wow. When other nations didn't know how to take us down, we always had somebody want to get rid of us. Like you're looking at Judah, you're looking at the book of Esther, Haman wanted to kill us, wipe us out. Now you had this Holofernes that wanted to wipe us out. Judas, the 4th chapter, 1st verse. Now the children of Israel that dwelt in Judea heard all that Holofernes, chief captain of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, had done to the nations, and after what manner he had spoiled all their temples, see, and brought them to naught, brought them to nothing. So he robbed all the temples and brought the people to nothing. Therefore they were exceeding afraid of him, and were troubled for Jerusalem and for the temple of the Most High their power. So we had a temple that we went into to worship the Most High. For they were newly returned from the captivity of the Chaldees. 70 years was in captivity under Ethiopians, the Cushites, the Babylonians. Therefore they were exceedingly afraid of him, and were troubled for Jerusalem and for the temple of the Most High their power, for they were newly returned from the captivity. And all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation. Therefore they sent into all the coasts of Samaria and the villages, and to Bethoron and Bilman and Jericho, and to Koba and Esarras, and to the valley of Shalom, and possessed themselves beforehand of all the tops of the high mountains. So they went to the tops of the high mountains and fortified the villages that were in them, and laid up victuals for the provision of war. So they had a lot of food that they stored up for war. And their fields were of late reaped, because they had already reaped the crops. So they had food. Also Joachim, the high priest, which was in those days in Jerusalem, wrote to them that dwelt in Bethula and Bethomesham, which is over against Estrella, toward the open country, near to Dothan, charging them to keep the passages of the hill country. Told them, keep the passages of the hill country, for by them there was an entrance into Judea, and it was easy to stop them that would come up, because the passages were straight for 2 men at the most. So only 2 men could come into this passage at a time. No matter how many thousands of men you had, only 2 could go through. It's real narrow. So we'll say this wide. Well, only 2 men could walk at the same time through it. One company, but only 2 men at the most. No matter how many you had, only that passage was like going into Judea, but only 2 men could go through it. But they're on the hill. Remember, they're up in the air, on the hill country. So it says, verse 8, and the children of Israel did as Joachim the high priest had commanded them, with the ancients of all the people of Israel, which dwelt at Jerusalem. So you see, the priest, the high priest, is giving them the knowledge to be able to prepare for war. Once again, verse 8, and the children of Israel did as Joachim the high priest had commanded them, with the ancients of all the people of Israel, which dwelt at Jerusalem. Then every man of Israel cried to the Most High with great fervency. You see, we cried to the Most High, and with great vehemency did they humble their souls. They cried to the Most High, because these people get ready to wipe us out. They're going to destroy us if they can. Both they and their wives and their children and their cattle and every stranger in howling, and their servants bought with money put sackcloth upon their loins. See? That's humility. They put sackcloth, like burlap, on our loins. Thus every man and woman and the little children and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before the temple and cast ashes upon their heads and spread out their sackcloth before the face of the Most High. Also they put sackcloth about the altar. They even put sackcloth on the altar. They put sackcloth on the men, the women, the children, and even the altar. And cried to the Most High power of Israel, all with one consent earnestly, that he would not give their children for a prey, and their wives for a spoil, and the cities of their inheritance to destruction, and the sanctuary to profanation and reproach, and for the nation to rejoice at. See? It was crying to the Most High, praying hard. Oh, hard it was humility at the lowest estate that we could be at, with one consent earnestly, that he would not give their children for a prey to these heathen, and their wives for a spoil. See, the women were for a spoil, and the cities of their inheritance to destruction, They would destroy our cities.